Trump just tried to dismantle the CFPB, but the judge blocked it. Now, it went to appeals court, so let's see what just happened.
And the Consumer Financial Bureau facing a round of layoffs, this being the latest step in the Trump administration's plan to reshape the federal government. The administration says about 1,500 employees with the Bureau receiving cuts, leaving around 200 people. Employees now receiving these layoff notices. A federal judge tried blocking this decision, saying it is an effort to dismantle the agency, but an appeal court announcing that layoff notices could be sent to employees determined to be unnecessary to their performance or duties. Their access to agency systems, including email, will be ending tonight.
Man, they think they slick, right? Now, as you saw, they trying to basically lay off people based off of their performance or whatever the case may be. They slick. Now, when it comes to the CFPB, right, I think a lot of this stuff is automated. So if you file a complaint with the CFPB using it to file a complaint against Experian or a TransUnion or Equifax, right, a lot of that stuff, I believe, is automated. So we do have some complaints, and we told some people to file complaints. I want to see what happens. And one of them I saw that, hey, TransUnion just looked at it. So we're just waiting for a TransUnion to respond back to a client. So I'll keep you updated when it comes to the automation of the CFPB. So you probably really don't need an employee to look at your case and things like that, but we'll double check and see, hey, if this is working. And I saw that, hey, they're prioritizing certain complaints. Be on the lookout for that. So, but when it comes to filing a complaint with Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, I think it's still going through, but we'll see if Experian, TransUnion, Equifax respond back to the dispute to the CFPB, and we'll see what's going on. But what I would tell you is, don't just rely on the CFPB, right? There are other things you can leverage to get things removed off your credit report. So most importantly, you do want to get access, of course, to your report and see all the accounts that's holding your credit score back, right? Once you see the format of, hey, these accounts are inaccurate, then you want to send your letter off certified to Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. And one of the things you can leverage is to create your letter or help you draft up a letter. Now, I do have the free secret letter. You go to freesecretletter.com and get access to your letter. But most importantly, you can leverage ChatGPT. You can leverage Grok. You can leverage these AI tools that are out there to help you create a letter with Metro 2 based off of what you have going on with your report, right? So everything that's, subject to your report, you can create a letter based off of that. Or you can, I always say screenshot. Now with ChatGPT, you do have to pay for these upgrades, right? Or these things to like screenshot or download a report or things like that. But with Grok, you can do screenshots for free. Now, it isn't a lot of things you can leverage with Grok, but some of the things you can do, or some of the tools you can leverage with Grok is the screenshots and things like that. Other places you can leverage is, you can leverage the BBB, right? Based off of what you have going on. You can leverage the Attorney General's office, right? Or the Attorney General's website based off of what you have going on. Also, you can also leverage a consumer lawyer. Now, when it comes to consumer lawyers, let me let you know this, that, hey, they don't take every case. They most of the time take cases that they can win. And I would say, instead of like giving them a call, I would tell you to drive up there, schedule an appointment, to tell them what you have going on. Say, hey, these accounts are inaccurate. I sent off multiple letters to Experian, TransUnion, Equifax to fix these accounts, to remove them based off of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Can you help me? All right. Now, sometimes they can't, sometimes they can, right? Now, we do have a lawyer on our team that actually does this and help people, but we'll let you know when this comes available, because he's really busy because we sent him a lot of cases, all right? But we should have him back on live to do another live with y'all to answer some of y'all specific questions. But most importantly, when it comes to let's just say the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the things that are reported accurately on your report, you also want to look at, hey, these collection agencies, are they violating the FDCPA, right? Because if they're violating the FDCPA, you can file a suit against them, right? Now, of course, hold on, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not here, I'm just here to show you what's going on. But you can file a suit against these collection agencies, because what they're trying to do is, hey, they say that you owe this debt, right? And yes, you might owe the money, but most importantly, there are laws they have to follow before they actually do certain things. And I'm pretty sure they probably violated multiple laws, right? Now, if they call you and you tell them, hey, this is not a good time to call, that's a violation, right? They send you a letter and you tell them, hey, I refuse to pay this debt. I have a lot going on. That's a violation. And they respond back to you, right? That's a violation of the FDCPA, right? If they text you and you text them and say, hey, I refuse to pay this. Let's say I say I refuse to pay this debt. I got things going on. And let's just say they did an automated test back. That don't count. But they text you again and again. That's a violation of the FDCPA. If they email you, right, and you tell them, hey, I refuse to pay this debt. I got a lot going on. Leave me alone. Whatever the case may be, and they continue emailing you back, that's a violation of the FDCPA, right? And I would tell you to reach out to a consumer lawyer, right? Because even though when I talk to lawyers, those are not big cases, but they do take those cases because it's a clear violation of the FDCPA, right? So if you have those specific cases, reach out to a consumer lawyer, reach out to somebody. Now, if you're being sued, one of the things you want to leverage is talk to an attorney, right? But you know what? I'm going to play this clip so you can hear some of the things that our attorney says if you're being sued. But one of the things, if you're being sued, you want to negotiate a lower payment most of the time. That, hey, if you negotiate a payment, a monthly plan, and like 3 or 4 months pass, right? And they don't put that on your report, that's a clear violation because they're supposed to report those payments, right? Man, it's a lot. So I'm going to play this video so you can hear what I'm talking about. All right.
Plus more, and they get to garnish either your paycheck or your tax return. So just fighting back is always a good thing. It gives you additional leverage. So Lisa, you're doing the right thing by that. And sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
That's okay. Yeah. I was also asking too, because I also, even though I was served, I don't know if this is valid to do it after you've been served, but I also sent them another letter of validation. And they still send me the same thing, the statement through the resurgent, and then the statement of what you spent on your bill and stuff. They
Right.
still sent me that. Then later on, I end up sending a deceased insist letter, and they responded to that. Is that considered still a violation or not? If I've been served already?
That's a great question. So being served doesn't stop many things. It doesn't stop their right to keep collecting from you. They can still call, they can still send you things, up until sending a cease and desist, for example, like you just described. But being served and being sued doesn't really stop many other clocks or timelines. The one it does stop is the statute of limitations. So as you mentioned, the debt was originally from California, so it's 4 years. So it does sound like they sued you. They don't have to get their judgment by 4 years. All they have to have done is filed their lawsuit within 4 years. Okay. And it sounds like they have done that.
Yes.
So that would be a successful defense that it's past the statute of limitations, but there are plenty of other options in the toolbox to try to defeat them. And let me also say, Lisa, that if you don't defeat them, another strategy is to get onto the lowest settlement that you can, because one of the things that I love to do is sue these idiots on the back end.
Yeah.
So these companies get so greedy and lazy that once you enter into an agreement with them, like everything else goes out the window. And what they often do will credit report erroneous information after the settlement. So in a situation like yours, let's just say, for example, that you negotiate a $400 settlement paid over 10 months. You pay them $40 a month for 10 months. That might be something they would absolutely, you should offer that. I would recommend. They might take it. But guess what? So you're going to pay for 10 months, the $40 a month. And then I'm going to say to you, hey, Lisa, I want to talk to you in month 11 or month 12, because we're going to check your credit reports. And I can almost guarantee you, they're still going to report that you owed the $800. They're not going to be showing your settlement payment. They're not reducing your balance. So even if we can't defeat them right away in the defensive case, we might be able to go after them in the long run. So that's a really fun strategy. And we do that all the time. So,
that's
but Lisa,
awesome.
Any more specifics? I would say let's connect you with a Texas attorney. But it was a great first question because we got to talk about a lot of things: the junk debt buying industry, some strategies to use, and defending. But let me also say something very important for Lisa and everyone else. Remember when I talked about there's some small circumstances where you do have to pay the attorney. When they're defending you, it's often that case. So if you're being sued by a landlord for eviction, if you're being sued for an old credit card debt, or you're being sued for foreclosure, you do have to pay the attorney's fees, because it's not like the offensive cases where the bad guys get to pay us per the statute. Now we're incredibly reasonable. We understand you're in this position, but there is always a little bit of skin in the game. And we try to get that back for you anyway, like I said, in the long run. But just keep in mind, if someone's being sued, it doesn't mean that someone's going to represent you for free. Sometimes they will if it's egregious enough. Like, for example, if the case comes to me past the statute of limitations, I don't charge my clients anything because I know I'm going to win it, and then they're going to have to pay me because I'm going to sue them under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act because they sued someone past the statute of limitations. That's a violation. So anyway.
So is it best I offer a letter of settlement before, or do I, when I show up to court, then offer to do like the $400 for the $40 a month?
That's a great question. And I'm so glad you asked it. You should offer that soon because the longer it goes and the closer it gets to court, they're going to have to put some time and resources into it.
Okay.
And they're going to be less likely to take a lower amount. So strike while the iron's hot and early.
So just
another important thing for Lisa and everyone else, if you ever negotiate a settlement, whether that's because you've been sued or not, you just settle a debt with a debt collector, always get it in writing. They will try not to. They don't like to put these in writing because that gives you a lot of proof and leverage, but always get a settlement in writing, whether that's you're settling a lawsuit or you're settling a debt with a debt collector on the phone or via email.
So do I call in on that, or do I send them a letter certified and this is what I could do?
Call first.
Okay.
You call, and then if you do, and another thing, let's talk about strategies here.
Okay.
Never started offering 50%.
Okay.
Always started offering like 10%.
Okay.
Because remember, at 10%, they might either be breaking even or just making a little bit of money. They're never going to take 10%, but you just want to start lower.
Okay.
Then they're going to offer, we'll knock off 10%. You're going to say, well, I can't pay 90%. I can pay 20%. And then maybe you somewhere in the middle. But that's why it's always better on the phone. You can have a couple quick phone calls. Letters just take too long and they get lost.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your information.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate you calling in.
Yes, thank you so much. You guys, I'll enjoy the rest of your guys' chats.
Now, you're probably wondering how to actually create this specific letter that I'm talking about when I say, hey, you can leverage ChatGPT or Grok and Metro 2 to create you a specific letter, right? Now, I want to show you how to do that step by step by step. So watch this video right here. I'm going to break down the whole entire process because I got you on how to create this letter so you too can knock the credit bureaus out.